My name is Lizzie. Each week I'm bringing along a different origami fold, and I'm doing that to encourage you to take some time out for yourself. The time to get focused and think about nothing else but folding paper. And it turns out that the simplest, the most accessible material of all, paper, is something that can bring you complete focus and joy and a sense of achievement, discovery. There's so many good things about it. So I'm sharing with you today, I think, a really, really exciting fold. I'm afraid I don't know who has invented this one. It's called a herringbone tessellation, and it really is special. This was once an A4 piece of paper. I'm going to show you how to do the folding. We're going to do a slightly smaller one because this will take quite a long time. But I just want you to see how amazing it is. You can squash it, you can twist it. It was once flat, and these are all little flat planes, but together it can twist, it can turn, it can go around in circles. And I shared this with a nurse. She said about how it just release the stress. It really does. To fold it is a joy, and then to play with it is something you'll keep finding yourself mesmerized by. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So all of these films are dedicated to my colleagues at UCLH, a hospital where I work, and I would normally go into the wards and encourage patients and staff to get creative. And out of everything that I've tried, it's origami that's really been the most engaging and the most fun, and was taught to me by a patient who asked me to learn to make some traditional lily flowers and to pass it on, and she sparked off for me something very special, and it's been a gift for me, but most of all it's lovely to pass it on. And actually origami is all about a gift, because these are discoveries from others who've been kind enough to share their discovery and pass it on. So it's about teaching. I think it's about the best side of humanity, and it really is both science and art, and it's just a moment of pure bliss. You'll just watch, maybe you'll have a go. I would really encourage you to have a go. So I'm not going to make quite such a big one because it will take a very long time, but just to show you some little examples, just as it's starting, you'll see how you can make lovely shapes. So I'll show you the principle. We'll make something like this, so a smaller bit of one, but then I very much encourage you to get big and go for an entire A4 piece of paper with finer little ridges. I was just trying on little bits and pieces, so we can make different size ones. I hope you're going to enjoy this. It's a real adventure, and you'll find yourself understanding it as you go along. So I'm going to turn this round. So yeah, we're going to start on a smaller one, and then I recommend that you go for it with a bigger one, but it will take a bit longer. So I thought you probably don't want to watch me quite so long. And I think it's always good to start off simple, and from simple you'll build up your understanding and your confidence. So grab yourself something to press on, and a piece of paper, of course. I'm going to get A4. I think I'm actually going to split it in half, and we're just going to use half a piece because, as I said, if I do the A4 it really is quite a long process, so thoroughly recommend it. But you'll find yourself really concentrating with this one. So I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'm just going to fold it in half. I would say, to be honest, I think the white is just really nice for this because you really appreciate the light and shadow. So as always, I've folded it in half. I've tried to be really nice and exact, matching up the corners. And a good strong fold, if it's a good strong fold, everything will work well. And you're also letting out a little bit of stress and tension, and you just feel a little bit better for it. And as you know, I like just keeping it really simple, so you don't even need to use scissors or a guillotine. So if you do a little tiny nick there, then you can tear that off. Right, I'm going to move these distractions out because it's so mesmerising, isn't it? You'll find yourself staring at that instead of the paper. Okay, right, so I'm going to show you the principle of how to do this. Just thinking which way. Right, so we've got a piece of paper and we're going to fold just a few ridges. Think of this as like a little fan. So I'm going to fold it in half, like so. There we go. And then I'm going to take the edge and bring it to the middle. I'm basically just going to add a series of little folds. The important thing is just to make sure they're equal, and I think for a fold like this it's really important that they are quite equal. You could have done it folds in the other direction of the paper. Really doesn't matter. It's about the principle. There we go. Yeah, I think that will work. So I'm going to start off really simple. Maybe we'll do another one as well. We'll see. So you've seen I've divided up in half and half again. Now, as a little fan, you want to do it so it goes back and forth. There we go. Hopefully then that works for you. Really make sure that they all match up. It's that attention to detail, particularly for this one actually, because the more precise it is, the better it will look. It really doesn't look as though it's even man-made, does it? It's so perfect. So hopefully you've got a little corrugated piece like this. Yeah, and then maybe we could do something a little bit more complicated. So the principle is really simple. Having it like that, what I want you to do is take the corner and fold it up here, like so. And what you're doing is you're adding a little line there. Now, I would recommend, and particularly if you're doing a larger one, you'll find there's lots of layers, of then undoing it and just repeating that same line on the back, just to strengthen that line, really. That's it. There we go, like so. So we've got a really nice strong fold there, and if you open it up, you'll see you've got these nice lines. So all I want you to do is to push that in. It's going the same direction. So you can see this is only like a tiny detail of one of these huge ones, isn't it? But it gives you the principle. That's already looking rather nice. Our next step is to close it up again, and we're going to take this and we're going to fold it so it sticks way up there. That's right, and being really exact to match up along there. There we go. And again, done a line, and I would repeat it on the back so that you're just adding a really strong line. It definitely gets a bit harder as it gets bigger because you have loads and loads of layers, and then it's quite hard to give a strong line. The sharper the line is, the easier it works. And then opening it up, and you will find, look, it's the same direction. Now the principle here is you're almost inverting the direction of this fold. So at the moment this sticks up, I want you to change it so it goes down at the point where it touches that V. So here it's gone down. Here at the moment it's down. I want it to go up. And it will start to sort of change it. Goodness, it's an amazing thing. You may find it easier actually also to work on the back. So that's gone up, so that needs to go down. And you'll find it starts to change the direction. So that's gone up. That has been up. It needs to now go down. And can you see it's beginning to make this sort of more three-dimensional? That's it. And then again, you should be able to close it up like so. I've got a little bit here that we can also do this herringbone tessellation. So the side, I'm going to fold it. And so what you're ending up doing is this sort of straight line here, but it's a sort of undulating shape, like so. And then opening it up, turning it to the back. Like so. There we go. And again, opening it up. You again see these lines. And so where it's gone down, this needs to then go up. Where this is, that's missing there. And again, this one going up, because it's only a little detail. But can you see this lovely shape that's emerged? So this is just a tiny detail of one of these heat drops. But what an amazing thing this is just to play with. You can squeeze, and then with time you'll find it can move around. Maybe we could try just one more with the other piece and maybe go a little bit finer. So here we go. So it's the same principle. So folding it in half, opening it up, halving it again, and all you're doing is you can add as many different ridges as you want. Just the important thing is they're all the same. So I might now start dividing those ridges in half again. And the same, I'm going to divide this one in half. So you can sort of match up the lines. So this will go to there, and that will halve it. And just play around with what size pieces. But as you can see, an A4 I think is kind of amazing. But it definitely took me a little, takes me quite a bit of time. But that's also its beauty. So again, I'm halving that. And in half again. So all you need to do is add your lines, just make sure they're equal. Got one more to add here. And then after that, we can again do the same principle. There we go. So I just want to fold it up as you would a fan. So back and forth, back and forth. It is an astonishing structure, this. You will find yourself mesmerised, and it will bring yourself joy and others as well. To turn what could be a boring piece of flat paper into something that's movable. So there we go, we've got a nice little corrugated structure there. So with the end, it's the same thing. Take the corner and fold it there, which is adding your first kind of diagonal line there. Can you see? So I've folded it over, and it's a little bit thicker this time because there are more ridges. So again, I'm going to turn it to the back, and that line I'm going to then fold back the other way, just so it's nice and strong. Like so. I was really umming and ahhing as to whether to show you this because I know it can take time, but I think it's rather good to start off simple. As always, start simple, and I think that's the beauty of origami. The simple can build up to the complex, but ultimately it's the simple which is what's beautiful. So opening this up, and can you see there's this nice little series of V's, so tucking them in. This first step is always nice and pleasingly easy. And it's the second step that gets a little bit more taxing, but that's fine. So you should be able to press them in and then push it all up together. That's right. Like so. It is like magic, isn't it? There we go. So that's looking rather nice. And our next step, again, as you saw before, is to take this whole long strip, and I'm going to bring it right up and try and really get things nice and lined up. So I took the side and I lined it up there. I thought in this month, which is a little bit dark, we could do a bit more challenges, some exciting, dynamic, edgy pieces. That's it. And again, I would reverse that, so turning it to the other side, just going exactly the same line again. It's just making it stronger because there's quite a few layers. And that's the thing, the bigger this gets, the harder it is to do it this way. There are other ways to fold, I think, herringbone, but this is the way I've enjoyed doing it, so I thought I'd show you. There we go. So again, opening it up, and you'll find, again, I suppose herringbone must come from, obviously, herring the fish, and their bones very nice and regular. And you'll see actually on things like material that it would, that it can have this sort of this structure, which I guess is very strong. It's very much engineering, this one. I love it. So, right, we're going to have to reverse things. So this takes more time. So where it's ridges, it needs to go in. And where it dips in, it's going to come up. So possibly you might find it easier to turn to the other side and push one down. You have to be really patient with yourself. It's definitely not very easy, but just gently, I'm going to start pushing that one in, and then where this one's down, you bring it up, and you sort of work your way along to the edge of the V. So that one has gone in, that's looking good. And you'll find this is a real test of your focus, but I think that's a great thing. I think we flit around, particularly with the internet, one thing to another. We don't quite concentrate, and it leaves us not so satisfied, I don't think. I think what we really enjoy these moments when we get completely focused, and that requires real materials. So that's gone in. I find this second step is the hardest of all. So if you're finding this a bit tricky, don't worry, to be expected. It's all about being patient and kind with yourself. This one will need to go in. That's it. And then the next one up. And in the moment we can check on how those lovely V's are doing. That one in. So you can see how the more you add, the more you kind of have to be patient. So hopefully as you're adding these in, you will find that the end of this starts to match. Isn't it lovely structure? There we go. And you should be able to fold it up as well, she says. I always feel a bit fingers and thumbs myself. Patience, patience. That's it. So it looks like this slightly strange shape. That's it. And you can then really push that down nice and tight. I love this kind of opening and closing it. It's a fascinating process. Think of this that we're going to end up making a nice straight strip. So this end, taking it and then twisting it up, we're sort of adding to this little straight line. That's how I think of it anyway. So I know which direction to go in. And you'll see it gets easier with time. So I've done a little fold there. And again, I'm going to do it on the back just to reinforce that line so that you can see it properly. Opening it up. Again, you're adding in another. So each time it's gone in there, it needs to come up. And as you're doing that, the little V starts going three-dimensional too. I find it a bit mind-blowing in a lovely, lovely way. It really is engineering. And up here. Find this real good test of patience. I'll go to the back here. So up here, down there. And I'm not sure there is a quick way of doing this. And you know what? I'm glad. Because it's about taking time. Trying to be respectful to the paper. Because I guess the marks could show as well. So it's a good one, this. And as I'm adding those mountains and valleys, you can see this lovely structure is appearing. So again, I should be able to fold it up, and hopefully you're finding the same at home. Or maybe you're just watching. Look at that lovely shape. It's just so enjoyable. That's it. That's good. So this slightly more complicated one, you're beginning to get more of the feel, and you can work that up to an A4, maybe an A3. I haven't yet managed that. I found the paper a bit too thick by that point, so I would recommend just A4. And there's something lovely about you've taken an A4 piece of paper and made it into something remarkable. which you can just keep playing with. I have sitting up on my bookcase and I just love looking at it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you'll find towards the end it starts to get easier as these little areas are smaller. So again, that's gone in, so I need it to come up, and that needs to go down, that needs to come up, and each time it sort of starts then adding the V. That's come down. Right, I need this one to go up. So it's a real sort of little meditation, isn't it, this? I'm afraid. I love the idea of meditation. I have to say, I just do not naturally want to do that. I love making. I love doing things. And I think that this is how I do it. And I think actually I've used these skills that I've learned from origami. I'm doing lots of very detailed drawings actually about the body and how incredible life is. And at a tiny molecular or a microscopic scale. So this concentration, I think, is a really good thing. Attention to detail, being able to persist, continue. There we go. Right, so you can see again, I'm thinking of the straight line. I want to make a straight line. We're almost there. This will be fast by the end. Yay. And then the other way. So hopefully you had to go with a very simple one, and then this more complex one, and maybe you'll do more. I don't know. But you can feel chuffed with yourself if you've managed. It is about being quite exact. This obviously is not one to start with. But hey, challenge is, I think, a good thing for us. So again, where it's, there it's up, I need it to go down. This one up. Or you might find it easier on the other side. I don't know. Just see whatever works for you. You'll start getting a feel for it. Here we go. And all of this just from proportions and care. We're almost there. That's it. There's just a tiny bit there sticking up. That's great. So I might as well finish it off. So lining it up, it's just a tiny bit there. And towards the back. Like so. And that should be very quick and easy to do that last little bit. A little bit there, it's a little bit covered. Nothing is perfect. It's a bit like the start actually. All I'm doing is tucking those in. There we go. So that was an A5 piece of paper. And look at this lovely thing that we've made. I hope it's worked for you. You can enjoy how you can play with it. You can go circular. You can. The bigger it is, the longer it is, the more movement it allows as well. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that. Do have a go. I'd love to see what you've made too. And I've created a Facebook group. Join the Fold Origami to Beat Boredom and Stress, obviously, and on Twitter at Dr. Lizzie Burns. I'd love to see what you've made. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's been a challenge, hasn't it? Thank you. Bye bye.